and welcome to NO Power Minority Business Week. My name is Whitley Yates. I'm the Director of Diversity for the Indiana Republican Party, a business owner, and a mother. And I'm here today with the wonderful Miss LaToya. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your role?
Hi Whitley, I am LaToya Boderin. I work for a Central Indiana Corporate Partnership. I am the seventh of 10, grew up in the Caribbean. I am a CPA by trade, and at CICP, I am the president and CFO. In that role, I oversee the financial strategy operations of our pretty complex legal organization. And I also work with our new CEO, Melina Kennedy, on org strategy.
Wow. Welcome to NO Power Minority Business Week. And we also have the wonderful Mr. Jeff. Will you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your role?
Sure. Jeff Harrison, President and CEO of Citizens Energy Group. And I'm a longtime Hoosier, born in Southern Indiana, grew up with a family of 6. My father was a bricklayer in the 60s, 70s, and trying to get ahead was tough for him back then. Guidance counselor turned me on to engineering, so I went to engineering school. And then also got a master's in business later, business administration, which brought me to Indianapolis. And here now is the CEO of Citizens Energy Group. And we've got a number of utilities here in Central Indiana. And then also honored to chair business equity for Indy, where again, a bunch of business leaders are very active.
Well, we're so honored to have you. Ms. LaToya, let's talk a little bit about CICP and what they actually do and what is it, because many people don't know what CICP is.
That's right. CICP is a membership-based organization. We are a convener, connector of industry, philanthropy, universities to bring about change in the Central Indiana community, and for business leaders, but also for the community as well. So our mission is around advancing prosperity, sustainable prosperity for our citizens and future generations.
That's wonderful. And Jeff, you hit on business equity for Indy. Can you tell us a little bit about the precipice and how that began?
Sure. So business equity for Indy really was born out of the social injustice after the murders of George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and Breonna Taylor. Businesses in Central Indiana really began to ask the question, what can we do differently? What should we do differently from the business perspective? And so from that conversation, a partnership took place between Central Indiana Corporate Partnership, the Indy Chamber, with support from the Indianapolis Urban League and our friend Tony Mason there. So that really became the launching platform then for real change here in Central Indiana. Around the participation of Black people and other peoples of color in the Central Indiana economy. We started off with 5 task forces, but have really now focused our time, energy, and effort around 3 pillars. They are people, procurement, and then policy.
Wow. Well, I want to say thank you so much to both of you guys for really spearheading and trailblazing this area, and also bringing in collaborative partners to also help you. Can you tell me about CICP's role in helping to create and cultivate business equity for Indy?
Sure. So business equity for Indy started really with a conversation with CEOs like Jeff and our prior CEO, CICP's prior CEO at the time, David Johnson, and then the CEO of Indy Chamber, Michael Huber. And as Jeff said, in response to really horrific incidents, those CEOs came together and said, you know, what can we do? What can we do pretty much immediately to make an impact in this area? And so that's how business equity for Indy came together, pretty in short order, by CEOs who were looking to make a change and hit the ground running.
When we talk about cultivating change and what that looks like, Jeff, as the chair of Business Equity for Indy, what do you hope to be the impact of this program for businesses in marginalized communities in Indianapolis?
Yeah, I think with respect to businesses and again, those who have been, again, marginalized, I think our long-term goal is to, again, improve and increase the economic participation of Black and brown people. So that translates into, again, a more diverse job base in terms of companies, in terms of their hiring as well. So we're looking to really help companies understand how they can participate, help our community understand where they can go, again, to begin to improve our community here in Central Indiana.
And Ms. Latoya, how important is it for the stakeholders that have come together and others to consistently support a program like Business Equity for Indy?
We have been extremely lucky among the leaders of the Business Equity for Indy community, which are members really of CICP and of the Indy Chamber. They've been pretty consistent in their investment, not only in financial resources, but time, commitment. Jeff's team really focused on what the opportunities are, but sustained commitment as well. And what we've heard pretty consistently is that the level of investment from the CEOs and the leaders really set the tone for success with something like Business Equity for Indy. So we pretty much have the focus and commitment of CEOs across Central Indiana on an effort like BEI, and that is extremely important for sustained effort.
For those businesses that are out there that are interested in learning more about what Business Equity for Indy is doing, how they can engage and participate, what would you tell them?
Yeah, there are a multitude of ways that businesses in the city can participate with Business Equity for Indy, or BEI. One, for example, is through our procurement roundtable, and I believe you presented at the procurement roundtable, and that takes place on a quarterly basis. And in that event, we bring in corporations, their purchasing agents, and then we also bring in minority Black businesses, and they get to showcase who they are, what they can do, how they can contribute to a corporation's profitability and success. And then there's also networking that takes place and relationship building that takes place. And so that's one way to get involved. Another way is through, we've just launched our inaugural workforce pilot program where we're helping, we've got a cohort of companies going through a 2-year program. The program's already started, but again, we would invite other companies to come and watch as these companies again grow in understanding how to use really evidence-based strategies to improve diversity in their organization. And then also our People Community of Practice is a third program that we've got and that we've launched just recently that really helps hiring managers really target Black, brown people, and other people of color.
As you guys have now created something that Indianapolis hasn't seen before, which is tangential to what's already happening when it comes to procurement on a city level, procurement on a state level, what would your call to action be for other CEOs and people in high-level positions as you guys are kind of blazing this trail yourselves?
Well, for us, it's been a learning process. And what's happened is that some companies have sort of gotten ahead of others in kind of blazing that trail. So we're looking for learning opportunities. What are best practices? What are outcomes that you've seen that other companies can learn from? Jeff always says in our BEI meetings that we want to see those outcomes. We want to see that level of accountability, and we want that sustained commitment. So that's a lot of what we find, that commitment again from CEOs, but also give us your best practices so we can share across the board.
Right, right.
Yeah. And I would just add, just to reach out to BEI at businessequityindy.com and get involved. I like to say that we're all on a spectrum. There are some great companies out there. I think Eli Lilly and Company are doing some amazing things. There are some other companies that are at the other end of the spectrum. And it doesn't matter where you are, the idea is to improve. Even for an Eli Lilly, we want to see them continue to improve and continue to lead the way. And so that would be the first thing, I think. And really just, again, reach out to us and participate. There'll be programs that we'll be rolling out in 2023 and beyond, and ask yourself how your company can help improve the participation of Black and other peoples of color here in Central Indiana.
What have you learned thus far, either from the large businesses or from the minority businesses and coming together through this process? What is one takeaway or something that you both have kind of picked up or learned from this process?
Go right ahead.
Well, I am really impressed with the commitment of the organizations across the board, but also I've learned that that looks different for every organization. Not every organization has the level of resources to do an Eli Lilly level of commitment, but there is the intention to want to participate, but to make it right size for that company itself. And so what we've learned along the way is that, to Jeff's point, progress is progress, and meeting companies where they are and offering solutions, they're eager and anxious to take it.
That's amazing.
I just add that, I think that we talk about the leaders in our community and their involvement. I think as well our employees are also very interested in seeing progress here. So as leaders, we hear a lot from our employees that we need to step up and join this conversation and more importantly, do something about it. Then as business leaders, what we'll also do is measure it, and we're measuring it. And we're working on a scorecard to do that here sometime in 2023, begin to measure our progress and again, hold ourselves accountable.
If I'm being honest, I think that a lot of times corporations and companies talk about what they would like to do, but a lot of times they don't know where to begin. And so it's great that they now have a resource that allows them or shows them or gives them a path. As a business owner myself and someone that got to pitch in the procurement round of business equity for Indy, I was actually surprised at the level of buy-in from the corporations, that it wasn't solely just about lip service, but that there was a fortitude to not only follow up, but to meet and to find areas of synergy where we can work together. It may not be a multi-million-dollar project, but these are some of the things that we're working on, and how do we create a fit or a niche part where we can work together. And that was something that was very unique, because usually you fit the RFP as opposed to the RFP assimilating to your business. And so I appreciated that element in the Business Equity for Indy program. What do you have to say to people who are thinking about starting a business, who are interested but may not have all of the pieces or tools to get to that next level? Does BEI help you get from maybe ideation to an actual business to procurement?
Yeah. I would say there are some elements that we possess that will help some organizations do that. And as BEI, Business Equity for Indy, continues to evolve, we'll likely get better and better at that. I think through CICP and through the Indy Chamber, there are some tools as well. And again, I think if someone's interested, we can help point them in the right direction. Again, at businessaquityindy.com. But look forward, again, to helping those individuals either start a company, or those individuals who are involved with a company today, figure out how they can grow and scale their company through some of our programs.
I'll add that Business Equity for Indy is not looking to be the solution or the authority in, business procurement for Black companies, but we are looking to be a resource and, to Jeff's point them in the right direction, looking to advance opportunities for Black businesses.
Well, as we are in our Minority Business Week with InnoPower, and knowing that you guys are a resource where businesses have the opportunity to pitch in front of the top 60 largest organizations, institutions, and companies, I think is something really great for our business community here in Indianapolis and beyond. Any lasting words that you want to leave with those who are watching, with those who are listening, about Business Equity for Indy and the level of investment that you guys have made into businesses in Indianapolis?
Well, I'll start and let Jeff end, but overall, I will say that the Business Equity for Indy initiative is just getting started. We've been at this for a couple of years already, but we're just building metrics. We're just creating some of these objectives for longer term, 3 years, 5 years out. And so there's a lot to learn and a lot more to do, and we're looking forward to the commitment of our companies, for business community to come alongside BEI and do this great work that we've started.
Yeah. I would just add that this isn't some fad that I think is going on here in Central Indiana. This is going to be a sustainable process, and we're really excited about, again, businesses either developing here in Central Indiana or moving to Central Indiana and growing their their businesses here. And as that happens, we'll continue to assist and help those organizations continue to grow through business equity for Indy.
That's wonderful. Well, you've heard it here first, guys, during InnoPower Minority Business Week, that Indianapolis is blazing trails when it comes to supporting and helping to procure business opportunities for minority businesses, as well as policy issues, as well as workforce development and people. Thank you so much for tuning in. Back to you.